Hello, everybody. It's Jamie Green, the Solar Queen, your host of Kickstart Conversations. And this week, I have a really amazing guest on the show. I met him through Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, you're missing out. But this gentleman is the relationship king. So he's going to come on and talk about the power of relationships and why building relationships and genuine relationships is so important for life and for business. His name is Christopher Vos. I'll have him right on. All right, Christopher, welcome to the show. We are live. Welcome to Kickstart Conversations. I'm so glad that you're here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Love any opportunity to talk about relationships, what I do. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you might be new to my show, or anyone that's new to watching. I interview entrepreneurs, business owners, and side hustlers who are getting out there and making things happen. And you are a mover and shaker with what you do, which is you help people learn how to capitalize on relationships, right?
That's absolutely what you do. Relationships are what it's all about. Everything's built on that. And it's something that we've kind of gotten away from. And I really, it's my mission to get people focused back on how important it is to build authentic relationships, to be able to network and build that foundation. Right now, a lot of people are thirsty. Everything going on in the world. We got a global pandemic. We got, economies in all countries that are struggling. And one of the key things that's getting people through what they tell me is who they're connected with, who they have relationships with, who their friends are. And a good friend of mine told me something a long time ago, by the name of Dave Woodward. He said, I'm not sure exactly where he got it, but he said he did a Facebook Live one time that said, you need to dig your well before you're thirsty. And it's so true. So many people are thirsty right now. So if you have wells that are dug, you can go tap into those and you can quench that thirst that you have. And a lot of people have a lot of thirst right now. And so it's so important to dig those wells before you're thirsty.
So I love that statement about digging your well and being prepared, and so that the water's there when you need it. Before we get into any more, I want to know, where are you from, and can you share a little bit about your family?
Absolutely. So I pointed the wrong way. I got to remember, on camera things are reversed. So
everything's backward.
So this end over here. So that's my family over there, and I am from near Detroit, Michigan. And it's a great place. It's a great state to live because you can lift up your hand and you can point exactly where you live based on. So I live in Michigan, and I have 9 children and a wonderful wife and 2 dogs. And our oldest is 20. I get this wrong, but hey, I have 9 kids. So
you have 9 kids.
But my oldest is 25, if I remember correctly. Our youngest is 6. My oldest daughter is married, and so we have a son-in-law, which we absolutely love and adore. He's absolutely amazing. And basically every 2 to 3 years apart, going down to Annie, our youngest. So I have 9 children. So from a relationship standpoint, relationships are really important because that relationship I have with Jennifer turned into this large, wonderful family. And so I'm a big family guy. One of my passions is spending time and playing games and just doing things and interacting with my kids. My wife is my best friend. We have date night every week. And
that's amazing. With 9 kids.
With 9 kids, yes. That's one of the reasons why we make sure we have date night. We have a night by ourselves. But I think I can count on my hands how many date nights we've missed in the almost 26 years that we've been married, just because it's been a priority for us. So that's a little bit about me. I'm an entrepreneur. I run online businesses, and I'm a marketer. And best marketing I did right there is convincing. I probably didn't have to do a lot of convincing. it's not often that you find two people that get together that wanted a big family. Jennifer wanted a big family. I wanted a big family. And we actually got to 10, just to get really personal on you. We got to 10, but we had the unfortunate thing where we lost that baby. So it was kind of sad. And my wife almost lost her life on baby number 10. So we almost lost her too as well. So we were kind of like, after that, we're like, we can't, too risky, we're done. And we're very happy with the 9 we have. But technically, we got the 10, and number 10 we'll enjoy some other day when we all pass away and go back to our Creator.
We lost, whoops, a little bit of feedback there. We lost a baby in between number 1 and number 2. So I feel for you and your wife, and it's something that's kind of an uncomfortable conversation to have or to share with people, but I commend you for sharing that. And, every now and then my kids will bring up that, the baby, or I had a miscarriage, but it was one of those things that the kids understand that, we'll see the baby in heaven someday. And so we say, so relationships, starting with your wife and your family, relationships are really important. How has your relationship with your wife influenced your business? Because your business is all about helping others build relationships and cultivate relationships, maintain those relationships. So share a little bit about your business and how your relationship with your wife has actually maybe impacted that or influenced your business.
Absolutely. It's funny. If you don't mind, I'm going to go back even a little bit further, if it's okay with you. When people are like, where does all this come from? And why do you have this, this sixth sense to know what to get somebody or what gift to someone or how to reach out to somebody, or, it's all about timing and connection. And, I think it's funny. It drives my wife crazy sometimes because of the level of observation. Like when I'm on a Zoom call with somebody or I'm watching a Facebook Live, I'm looking at what's going around in the background or what's on their bookshelves, what's on their desk, what color are their walls, what clothes are they wearing. There's just so many details and things that you can find out when you just pay attention to the surroundings, the backgrounds of people that you're talking to. And the relationship building thing was taught. I learned it when I was a young child. So tell you a quick story. I was a mama's boy. My brother was attached to my dad, and I tagged along with my mom to the wallpaper store, the paint store. I went everywhere with her, and I learned a really valuable lesson from her that really impacted what I do nowadays and what I teach about ROR. She would go so I remember going to the bank with my mom, and banking, I'm 40, going to be close to 50 soon. And banking nowadays is so different than how banking was back then. So, banks were not huge. There weren't big global banks, big national banks. The branch that we had in our area, there was probably 2 other branches. The bank manager ran each of the branches, but the bank owner usually is on location. It was just way different. It was just really small town banking is what it was. And so my mom would take gifts up to the tellers. Now back then, it was mostly female tellers. When I remember as a child, I don't know why, but that's changed. But she would take gifts, cookies, treats, and it wasn't just on the holidays. It was just for no reason. She would go up and take maybe little bottles of perfume. The bank manager, she would maybe take a tie or just different gifts for him, gifts for his secretary. And so I learned one day the reason why she did that. Mom had a large check that she needed cashed. I can't remember what it was for. I can't remember why she needed it cashed, but she went into the bank. Now, in those days, if you had a very large check and you needed to cash it, that bank would have to call the bank that it was written from and say, hey, do they have $20,000 in their account so I can give $20,000 to this person? I'd make sure it wasn't a bad check. Well, that's how they did it. They couldn't go into a computer, scan it, bring things up. It's just computers weren't, that's not what we have now. So she went in and they couldn't get a hold of the bank. They couldn't get a hold of the right person to find out if the check could be cashed. So she said, Mrs. Vos, just a minute. Now, I'm barely enough can see over the top of the counter, but I can see the guy walk down around. And then back then, security was really different. It was really more open. But she walked across and she went to the other side of the room at the guy behind the big desk. And he's the one that approves loans and makes decisions for the bank. I heard some talking, and I heard out of his voice, I heard, for Mrs. Vos, anything.
Oh.
And she went back to the teller, and she said, Mrs. Vos, would you like small bills or big bills? And they cashed it. And so one of the things I learned is my mom developed a relationship with all of those tellers. She developed a relationship with the bank manager or the bank owner. And because of that, they knew her. And they knew that she would not come in there with a bad $20,000 check. Even if the person that wrote it to her was, a problem, they still were going to cover her on that, and they would have dealt with it later. So I just learned that because of the attention and connection that she made with them, they were willing to do and help her. So I call that the return on a relationship. My mom did all those things for those ladies and the bank manager, not looking for anything in return. She had no agenda. It was just, she was leaning into them. She was reaching out to them.
Mm-hmm.
They leaned back into her, and in return on relationship, she was in a situation that needed help, and they were willing to help her on that return. So going back to when I was a little child is kind of where the root of all this came from. I'm learning how the reciprocity works and how doing things for others. So that's the root of where it came from.
I love it. We have some people hopping on. Corey Calvin says, howdy doody. Happy Friday to you, Corey. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Corey.
And this is a good childhood friend of mine, Leah. She's watching from Palo Alto, California. Thank you, Leah. That's a nice compliment.
She said, you're looking gorgeous, or me? That's okay. That's right.
I think you're looking gorgeous too, Christopher. It's a good Friday afternoon. We have sunshine. Is it sunshiny where you're at in Michigan?
Yeah, so we've spring officially has begun, and it started. We still have our cool days in Michigan, so it's not going to really warm up yet. We had a couple days, 60s, 70s. Today it was in the 50s, but that feels a whole lot better than 10 and 20.
I agree with you. So you watched your mom build relationships and lean into those relationships, and she probably made a name for her. Did you grow up in a big town?
It was just a medium. It was a suburb.
Yeah.
Not super big, just a small. We were outside of Detroit, so it was just a suburb of Detroit. It was just a small branch bank. And my mom did this. She did this with my dad's clients. He was an attorney, and she was always buying gifts and doing things for. My dad did workman's compensation and products, and so he dealt with insurance companies a lot. Got a lot of business from insurance companies. And so she was always doing this for people at insurance companies to help grow my dad's business. So I just learned at a young age that, there's a personal special touch that you can put on things. And, fast forwarding to now, as a grown-up, I learned this greatly too. And when you're ready, I got another story I can tell that kind of emulates, how this happened today.
Yes, please share. I think the audience would benefit, and I would benefit from hearing the story because, I would have to say I haven't always been a very good gift giver. I will think of people, I'll send them a text or a call or, every now and then, but there's something about gift giving. And I recently have started doing this with my customers where I send them a thank you gift, and it's a customized thank you gift. And I love getting the text messages of, wow, thank you so much. It just makes me feel good. They weren't anticipating it, but I wanted to give them that. So, it definitely sounds like your mother planted a really important seed into you, and it's bloomed into something that now you're actually doing. This is your career. This is your livelihood, and this is what you're doing, and you're helping other people do it. So please share the story. Share your story.
It's the best job on the planet. My job is to help other people put smiles on other people's faces. My job is to make people happy and to show them appreciation. And so, one thing my mom did teach me too, she said, those who bring sunshine into the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. And that's one great thing too. That's a side benefit of connecting with individuals and showing appreciation and gratitude for them. It brings sunshine into your own life. And we all need that nowadays with everything going on and whatnot in the world. And so, I learned it's really, Dale Carnegie says it best. He says, you can gain more friends by showing interest in others for 2 months than spending 2 years having them try to get interested in you. And so I like to take out that word friends and then plug in whatever word works for you. It could be partnerships, joint ventures, business opportunities, personal relationships, throw in the word partnerships. You can get more partnerships by showing interest in others for 2 months than spending 2 years them trying to get interested in you. And people miss that. People, how many times do we see out online? Everyone's like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at what I do, check out my stuff, look at my stuff. And if you spend 2 months leaning into other people and getting to know them and showing interest in them, it's going to reciprocate and come back, and you'll get more groundwork done than spending 2 years trying to get someone to be interested in you. So the reason I'm here today on this Facebook Live with you, talking to you about return on relationships, really, I would not be standing here. You wouldn't have this opportunity to talk to me. I would be deceased and dead if it wasn't for a relationship. I'll explain to you why. So being an entrepreneur, I didn't take care of myself. I was 400 pounds. I was a really big guy. Carried my weight well because I'm Dutch, but I was a big fellow, and I looked it. And I'd done a lot of abuse to my body. High blood sugar, high blood pressure. The damage was done. And so a friend of mine got me into a program. Now, this gentleman's name was Wallace Nelson. And here's the thing. I never would have met Wallace, developed a relationship with him, if it wasn't for building a relationship with someone else. So here's where the story begins. Russell Brunson, one of the co-founders, founders of ClickFunnels. A lot of us know who he is.
Yep.
I watched a webinar of his, got me pulled into the digital marketing space and world, and I began to build and connect a relationship with Russell, studying his content, learning from him, letting him know what I learned, and returning the favor back by showing appreciation to him. And just to be real here, my computer said that it's battery low, so I don't want this to cut out. So give me just 2 seconds.
Sure,
I really apologize. Let me find where it is. Here we go.
We were just discussing about the technicalities of everything before the show started.
I'm like, why is it saying low battery? Here's the thing. One of my kids unplugged the battery. So there we go. So I got into Russell's world and just showed gratitude to him and started building a relationship with him. And that was the beginning. And then from Russell, I met another guy, Dave Woodward, and started building connected relationship with him. And you had mentioned earlier, he had interviewed me on ClickFunnels Radio, good friend of mine. And so on and on and on. So Russell was the big domino, is what he calls, that knocked down all the people that I bought. So I met Wallace. Never would have met him if I wouldn't have built a relationship with Russell. Wallace put me in his health and wellness program, and I lost a tremendous amount of weight. I was eating healthy. I was exercising. I lost about 130 pounds, was getting myself back to where it should. Had a long way to go. Still have a way to go. But that got me there. July 1st of 2019, I had a major stroke. Anyone hear the word stroke, you'd be like, holy crap. Yes. Yeah. So the doctor was sitting on the edge of the bed, and he said, I understand that you lost a lot of weight. You're getting yourself healthy. He said, whoever got you to do that, make sure you send him a Christmas card, because your wife would be a widow and your children would be fatherless if it wasn't for you losing all that weight. Getting myself to that point made that stroke survivable and not made it catastrophic.
Wow.
So indeed grateful for that individual. And that was the return on relationship I got to. That was my life. Now here's one step further to that story. I'm laying in my bed. My wife has my phone. She's trying to get me to respond to my text messages. And I'm like, I'm hooked up to machines. I just had a stroke. I'm not interested in chit chatting or texting anybody. After some convincing, she said, you really want to take your phone? I'm like, okay, give me my phone. She gives me my phone. And I love telling this story because it just drives home the fact of how important relationships are in that return. I don't recognize the phone number. I click on it. I'm looking at it, and I open it up and I read it. And the message says, Christopher, this is Russell Brunson. I understand what happened to you, and I'm very sorry. And if there's anything we can do for your family, let us know. And we are praying for you and your family. I was like, then like 30 seconds later, someone else. And not being a name dropper, but through this digital marketing community of all these major influencers that everyone would love to have relationships with are reaching out to me saying, I'm sorry what happened. Let us know you can help. So when I'm at my lowest point, and I'm hooked on machines, just had a stroke, people are leaning into me. And the whole reason they're leaning onto me and giving me that return relationship is because I first tried to make the initiation and build a relationship with them. And so all of us that are marketers, you know that it did drop into my head. Holy cow, I've got Russell Brunson's cell phone number.
I've got his attention now.
Never used it, and never, but you know, because I respect that. But he reached out to me at a time when I was low, and I appreciate that, and I thank him to this day. And it was that relationship that. So anyway, I just want to say, you're one relationship away from a sale. You're one relationship away from blowing the doors off your business. You're one relationship away of something in your life, personal or business, but you just need to spend the time. And I learned very fast, and that's why I'm so passionate about wanting to teach people what ROR is, why it's important, and it's real, it works, but it has to come from the right place. It has to be authentic. And there's a wrong way and there's a right way to do it. And be honest with you, a lot of people do it the wrong way. And hopefully I can correct that and get people doing it the right way.
Yes. Well, I agree with you on that. There's a right way and a wrong way. And Steve LeChance said it was a great story. It is a great story. And it's everything that I do for my business is all relationship based. It's all, you know, I have built my personal brand out, but it has been built on relationships, you know, everything, relationships and referrals. And I think when you take care of people, they're gonna remember that. If you go the extra effort, if you send that extra text, make that extra phone call, send them, you know, a thank you gift, whatever, they remember those things. And it's weird how a lot of my customers have become really good friends, like friends of mine. I go from not knowing them at all and then building a relationship over time through the solar, you know, the solar process can take anywhere from 3 to 4, sometimes longer months, but we plow through it and we can carry on until the project's completed. But a lot of that, in that time, relationship is built. And then they're going to, you know, then in return, they remember that. And if they remember anybody who wants solar, they go, oh, you should work with Jamie Green, the solar queen. And so it's real magical how it happens. It's like you said, it's not everyone does it the right way. Somehow it's working. But I want you to share about ROR University, because that's the course that you've created. And so I'm going to share this website so people can go and check it out. But talk about the university. My daughter is losing her mind out there. I think she's upset with her brothers because they're playing Roblox or something. And if she dies in one of her games, because she plays these your kid, I don't know if you let your kids play games, but
they do. I know exactly. You had me at Roblox,
yeah. And so she loses her mind over the littlest thing. So but Lewis says, love this. Relationships are the foundation you can't ignore. It's absolutely true. So let's share a little bit about ROR University. I'm going to put you on the screen and just go run out and check and make sure she's okay.
Absolutely. Very good. Yeah. And it happens in our house all the time.
They're
all blaming each other and someone screaming, yelling because they got killed or they took their stuff or. So yeah, go take care of what you got. So,
they actually calm down, so I'm good. So ROR University.
Yeah, so ROR University. So I created that because just out of the frustration of I want people to have this wonderful tool to be able to connect and build relationships, because there is a process. If you follow the process, if you apply these things, they're at the university. What we do, we have 6 or 7 different things that we teach, and the first thing that we teach is you have to get into the right mindset. And what that's important is everything has to come from an area of gratitude. And so one of the things that we encourage our students to do is have them buy, 100 to 150 thank you cards from Amazon, just little square thank you cards. And we kind of require, hope that they do, during their morning routine, send out 2 thank you cards a morning. And those of you that are watching this, number one, do this because it's going to help change your thinking and your mindset and put you into a mindset of gratitude where you're going to think differently on how you approach relationships. Number two, it's going to do a positive thing for me because when you do things like this and you show gratitude and thankfulness, there is a chemical reaction that does happen in your brain. It's almost like that's a drug. That's a good drug. And that will help you with your mood and your emotions, especially with everything going on right now. Number two, you're going to affect the emotion and mood of the person that you send it to. And lastly, it's going to plant a seed and start the relationship process with that individual. There is so much value in sending someone a little handwritten note. Don't have anything on it that has to do with your brand, your logo, just a handwritten note, hand addressed, hand return address, sign it sincerely just with your name. And if you do that, they're going to open it up on that end. And what that's going to do is it's literally like propping the door open on a warm summer day, and you're going to let the breeze come in. Do that first. So we teach mindset. We teach about how to gather information. I mean, the internet, everything's on the internet, and there's good places that you can go and look and find out personal information, not in a creepy way, about the individual. Find out something about them that when you find an object or a gift or something that has to do with that, they're going to open it up and they're going to be, we call it the head snap or the shock and awe. What can you, they're going to open this thing and they're going to have such an emotional reaction to it. They're going to be like, how in the world did this person know that I'm an Iowa football fan? And this Iowa football fan thing is so super cool. They're going to put it up in their office. Every single time they're going to look at it, they're going to think of you. So getting information, gathering information, where do you go and look for the perfect gift? We've got all the resources for that. All about the packaging and the messaging and how you send it, whether you use styrofoam peanuts or, part of the packaging is part of the reveal.
Yeah.
That's really critical and important. And then after you do all that, what is the follow-up afterwards? What are the next steps? What do you do if someone doesn't say thank you for it? What do you do? How do you make that connection with them? Number one, to make sure that they got it, them not thinking that you're fishing for kudos.
Mm-hmm.
So in the university, we go through all 6 to 7 steps, and we've got a couple bonus things in there too as well. Storytelling. How do you convey your story to an individual that not make it look like you're selling or pushing yourself too much? How to track everything. There's just all these components. And so over the last 4 years of putting this all together, we put this in a course at university, and someone can start beginning to end. And if they go through all of it, they're going to be able to do it the right way, not the wrong way. And they're going to drastically expand their relationships, build and connect. And it's just absolutely going to blow the doors off your business or your personal life. So super passionate about that. Excited to be able to teach it to everybody. But those of you that are watching too, just to mention, if you're the person that's like, I don't have time for this, I just want you to do it for me. We also do have a service where people give us names and we do it on their behalf, where we do the relationship building for them. It doesn't take away any authenticity, because the way you look at it is, when I want to give flowers to my wife, I go to a florist and they put together a really killer bouquet. I don't go out and pick flowers and wrap them up. Same thing is, some people like to spend the money, hire the best person, the professional at showing their gratitude for an individual. And we encourage our clients to be transparent and say, hey, tell them that you hired us to do this. It's even more impressive that you're spending the money to have someone find the best thing in the world that you can do to show your gratitude to them. So we also do it for people. So that is the business side of what we do. We teach it and we do it, and it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Tom Gavin has a personal question. When you were losing all the weight, how much did exercise play a role?
Super great question. So one of the most important things is diet. What you put in here is really super important, and really, it's really chemistry. Mm-hmm. Your body is like a big chemistry set, and you got to try different things. So exercise is probably was about 20% of it. I'd say 80% of it was diet. Now, it all depends on what you can do. If you can have more exercise, it's definitely going to contribute more. But, trying to burn all your calories off is not the effective way to do it, because your body can naturally do things a lot by itself. And when it really boils down to it, not getting off in a tangent, but your liver is really what is responsible for weight loss. And so making sure that you're putting the right things in your body so that your liver can do the right things in order to help you with your fat loss is really critical. When you're putting bad things in your body and your liver's having to overwork, it's not doing what it can do and help you lose the weight. So that's why what you put in your mouth is so important. And the gentleman, Wallace Nelson, the program was called Vitavore, and he was a naturopathic doctor. And it was super great. So it was, so good question. Exercise is important, but going on a walk every single day is just enough exercise that you need, as long as you're not going to the mailbox and back. You got to go a little bit further than that.
Do a little bit more, yeah. How much did you notice when you lost the weight? What did it do for business for you and your energy levels? I'm sure it probably expanded and increased.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, number one, you sleep better, so you're getting better sleep. You have more energy during the day. Especially, it's like gasoline in a car, or like putting bad oil in or bad gasoline. Your body, I mean, putting good things in, and that, there was juicing involved, and green drinks and different things like that. There's just, what you put in really has a drastic impact on how, it has an impact on your mind. I mean, you're metabolizing things and your body's trying to digest things, and it's just. So I just want to say one thing about the whole weight loss thing. And those of you that are watching, entrepreneurs, salespeople, they say put your oxygen mask on first. They say if you're in an airplane and the plane depressurizes and the mask drops down, God forbid, put yours on first. As an entrepreneur, I was walking around without a mask. I was serving coffee and drinks to everybody, checking, making sure that everyone was comfortable. Would you need a blanket or a pillow? And oxygen slowly going out of the plane. I just did not take care of myself. So as an entrepreneur, take care of yourself first. I have a sign on my door, on my office, that says, put your oxygen mask on first, and it has a picture of an oxygen mask. It's there for a reason. So every single time I walk out that door, I remember, put it on, put it on.
Take care of yourself. Yep.
I can't help these people with their masks if I'm not good first. So it had a huge impact on how I felt.
Well, I'm so glad that you had, the awakening, that you had a second chance, that and that you did something, and that Russell impacted your life in more ways than than he probably, maybe he realizes it, but
he knows.
Impacted your life in a major way. And now here you are, you're helping others do the same. Return on relationships, helping business owners and people do this. And if you're interested in his course, go to roruniversity.com. That's where you can sign up for it. Christopher, where can people find? I know you and I met on Clubhouse. So I have your Clubhouse is right here, Christopher Vos. Where else do you hang out? I have your Facegram. Isn't that funny? I have your Facegram, Instagram and Facebook. Where do you tend to hang out on social media? And what are your thoughts on Clubhouse? And then we'll end the show.
Clubhouse is an absolute goldmine. It is, you get to sit with a notepad and a pen. And if there's someone that you want to connect with and reach out to and show gratitude for, maybe think of a gift that you can send them, a way of saying thank you, sit there with a pen and paper, because people dump their guts out. They dump their candy in the lobby. They talk about what kind of dogs they like, what their favorite perfume is. People share so much on Clubhouse. It's a information gathering candy store of information. So it is a great way to learn a lot of things, but it's learn new things. Yeah. It's a great way. I just sit there and think, oh, they just told me, what their favorite snack is. They only eat on Thursdays. Okay, well, guess what's showing up on Thursday at their house? Yeah. Their favorite snack. So, super great way to gather intel. When it came out, I was like, this is so great. People are sharing so much information. So you can find me on Facebook, Christopher Vos. Just look for me. I'm very approachable. I can, for sure, send me a DM, send me a Facebook message. I'm very approachable, and we'll get back to you. If you have any questions about relationship building, if you want me to talk for a little bit further about what I do, please reach out to me. We can hop on a call. I'd be glad to share that with you. And I'm not afraid to help. Don't feel like, if you got a question that you thought of after this interview, shoot me a message. I'd be glad to help you because the more people I can help. I mean, you mentioned Russell Brunson. It's nice to be able to walk up to someone's father and say, I'm alive because of your son.
Yeah.
I walked up to his dad at Funnel Hacking Live and I said, Mr. Brunson, Brother Brunson, I just want to say I'm alive because of your son. And I mean it wholeheartedly. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for being introduced to your son. And I know that's just one of many stories on how Russell's helped people, but that's what it's all about, though. It's not about the money. It's about helping. Of course, we all need to make money.
Yeah,
Yeah. Our families and all that. But at the end of the day, who are you connected with? Build your own inner circle. Build your own individual mastermind. Who's in your inner circle, your own personal inner circle? Because those are the people that are going to help you grow and progress. So build now, dig your well, and I promise you it will pay off.
Well, Christopher, thank you so much for being on my show today. And I wish you and your family health. I know that your wife has been going through some things, so I hope that she's. How is she doing? How is she feeling and doing? Is she doing?
She's
better?
doing better. Long story. She had those of you. So Jamie, thanks for bringing that up because talk about a return relationship. We found out my wife had brain tumors, and we found out during the middle of the pandemic, and we were going to have to wait 3 months before we could even get on a Zoom call with a surgeon.
Oh my gosh.
So it's nice to know that your wife has brain tumors and you can't talk to anybody about it for 3 months. You even know a strategy. But through one phone call, and I can say this now without crying, you got me a little while ago, I would have been a bald mess and would have had to take over and talk for a little bit. But one phone call, got a call back in 45 minutes and had an appointment the next day to meet with the best surgeon in Michigan, literally on this side of the United States. Went in and met with him that next day and had a surgery set up for 2.5 weeks later. So 2.5 months before we even could meet with a surgeon, my wife was in surgery getting these things removed. And it was strictly because of a relationship. So she she had some cranial leakage that she's had, which is really rare. She's leaking cranial fluid from her head down the side of her head underneath her skin, and it's decreasing. So we're blessed because that should mean that she doesn't have to have her surgery repeated. So thank you for asking. She's a mother of 9, and she functions better than I do when she's under university. So, but she's hanging in there. It's getting better, and we're just being super safe with COVID just because of all the things going on with her.
All right. Well, thank you for your time this Friday evening for you almost. When's date night? Is it tonight?
Yeah, so super excited. My daughter and son-in-law. That's what's great when your kids get older. They like to do stuff with you, which is really fun. And they were like, we want to do date night with you guys. So my daughter and son-in-law are coming over. I think we're going to play cards, order DoorDash, and maybe watch a movie or something. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. So we're bringing my daughter and son-in-law into date night tonight. So
that's so fun. So fun. Well, again, thank you so much, Christopher. Hang tight. I'm going to wrap up the show and then, just hang tight for just a second. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I got teary-eyed a couple of times during Christopher sharing the stories of, just even with his mother too, and the impact that she had going to the bank and all the years of taking cookies and ties to the male bankers, but the story, his own transformation and now his wife. But relationships really are everything. And on a personal level, make sure you reach out and hug those around you. Send a text to somebody that you've been thinking about and maybe hadn't done it. When you feel those promptings, follow them because there's a reason for that. But even in your businesses and everything, a personal touch, those personal thank you. I'm going to start doing those personal thank you cards with nothing on there except for a thank you. That's such a great tip. And if you're interested in joining Christopher's course, again, please go to RORuniversity.com and sign up. Next week, I will be traveling, and the following week, I'm going to be having Jay Noland on the show. Again, another Clubhouse connection and relationship that was formed there. So April 9th, the day after my 42nd birthday, Jay Nolan's going to be on. So until then, have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be well.